Cool. Hi, I'm Mab.
Arish.
I'm Tay. What's going on? You okay?
Welcome to Nine.
You sound like a gangbanger. 9. What is 9 what?
9-1.
D
Niles.
Welcome to the podcast, guys. Welcome to the podcast.
We're just kidding with you guys. We know our names.
Episode 3. As you can see, we're missing 2 of our partners today.
-2 today.
-2 due to personal reasons, they're not able to come today. So, well, hope for the best, and hopefully we'll see them next week. So, today's topic really is a topic that's quite close to one of the other girls. It's heart brace. And she was supposed to really be leading it today, but because again she wasn't able to show up, we kind of, we'll share it and discuss it, and we'll give our point of view, everything from our personal experience. So the topic today is Colorism. So, being dark, pretty much in short, colorism is just being dark skinned or South Sudanese within, whether you're in a UK environment, whether you're in Africa, whether you're in the US, whether you're in Canada, or wherever you are in the world, and how it's affected you. So that's kind of really the outline of today's discussions. So what we do is run through a couple questions, and I'll put it to you, and then we can go from there really. How has colorism affected you personally growing up?
Sorry.
That question goes to you, Arish.
To me.
Just give us your personal experience.
First.
Me growing up, colorism was a massive thing. Like, I felt like I went through a lot of depressional, like anxiety and stuff, because like just everyone would always look at me like, oh, this is the black girl, obviously she's bad, she has to be bad, she has to steal, she's like, she's probably a thief, she's naughty, whatever it is, and it was just always, I always got picked on because of the darker tone that I had compared to my other black friends and my other African friends who were from like Nigeria, Eritrea, Ethiopia, and it was always like, oh, why are you so black like that? Oh, why are you so black? Oh, what is your hair fake? Oh, is your hair this, is your hair that? Like, oh, can your hair come off? And I was just like, what are you guys talking about? We have exactly the exact same.
What was that from, like Africans, or was that from like white people?
From Africans and white people.
Oh, okay.
Because Ethiopian people, they have like their hair is like not like loose, like loose curls and stuff.
Yeah.
So it was just like, it was always like, colorism really made me feel like I was always ugly because I was always darker than everybody. Yeah. But for some reason, I always felt like I was still beautiful inside. Like I was just like, I'm like, why should my color define who I am as a person when you should be looking from within? Like,
do you think that comes from like maybe because you had the confidence from home, where it's like, okay, your parents were at the house, or you had uncles and aunties that were in the community that enforced that positive, like, okay, well, we're from Sudan, where they were proud, where some households don't have that.
Actually, because my uncle has always told me, he's like, from where I come from, like from where you come from, South Sudanese people, we love dark-skinned women. The darker you are, the more beautiful the people find you, and the more that they will pay for you and give in your
right prices.
So then, growing up in my household, my uncle always told me I was always beautiful, my mom always told me I was beautiful, but also at the same time, my mom also told me to bleach too, because I think it started getting to her with the whole Western world, and because my older sister, she's a whole lighter tone from me,
and
you
she
know.
was bleaching as well.
Yeah, and she was also bleaching because she had different discolorations too on her skin, and she didn't like it.
Yeah.
And then I'm the only dark skinned girl in the family compared to my other.
So your mom bleached as well?
My mom also bleached. The thing, my mom was pretty. My mom was always light to herself.
Did she start that before she went to Canada or while she was in Sudan?
I think she started once she went to Canada.
Okay.
Because that's when she started having West African friends, you know, other African friends, and then they started, you know, telling her, oh, like, you know, you can make your skin fairer and your skin more one-tone color and all these things. So
I personally think they should ban all that stuff. I think they should make that stuff illegal, 100%.
Because like,
anyone who produces it should be fined.
Because there's stuff that's contained in, you can't even pronounce it. It's like, why would you apply something you don't even know? You don't even know what the stuff is, and you're applying it to the skin.
Exactly. And it's just like, and it builds, and also I feel like with all the chemicals too inside the bleach, it really builds a lot of nerve system like breakdowns, you know, like it really starts damaging your body, it starts like damaging your bones. It goes to the source of your bones.
Like no offense to people with bleach, like, but when I look at them, some of them they look a bit sick.
They look sick,
to be honest.
And there's different colors, on, like your hands and like your face, and it's like, you know, that's
kind of what's going on.
But I think the fact that you had the family support, like I said, to go back to what I was saying before, anyone who had the family support or anybody that was proud of their culture, generally you have one or two people in your family that like that. Generally you can overcome that hurdle, I think, a little bit easier. Where if you didn't have that in the house, or you didn't have maybe any uncle, your dad or your brothers that really were proud of where they come from, regardless of what's going on, it's easy for you to crack. You know, and I think in the UK it's worse for women than it was for the men. Definitely. Because I think being dark skinned in London, you've grown up in London, I've grown up in London. Generally, when you're dark skinned, most of us are quite tall, we're quite big, so we're actually naturally intimidated. So most people are not really gonna be like, oh yeah, he's such and such. It does happen. It does happen, but they know there's consequences to that. So naturally, growing up, there's people in my community, you start calling them that, you know, you might get hit in your mouth.
But it's only as far as goes, it's just name calling.
And it becomes name calling. But then once you react, and with men, we dealt with, I'm just talking from experiences, we dealt with violence. So you say something to me, I'm gonna react in a violent way, whether you're in high school or whether you're in college or even whether you're in the workplace, you know. And dealing with violence, we'll be like, okay, cool, all right, this guy's kind of, you know, let's not take it any further. And that was my experience, but also as well, in Canada, like you said, a lot of people, a lot of South Sudanese, they're always together. Like when I grew up, you know, I had a lot of South Sudanese friends, and we're always together. So that whole Colorism, we stand up. So there's 5-6 of us. So the minute you even dare to start saying that, the price that you're gonna pay is gonna be a lot harsh. And the same for me personally, the same as you, is I had that encouragement from home. You know, like my dad or my uncles and stuff. And you know, I'll tell my dad, or they talk about, they're like, okay, my dad is like, well, you live in a country where everybody's white. It's, you know, there's like 3 or 5% of black people in the UK. It's a white country. So it's normal for them to start thinking, oh, what is this guy? It becomes, you know, they start questioning a lot of things, where if you're in South Sudan, no one's gonna question what you look like because you're home, you know? So once I understood that dynamics, I was like, it's just ignorance. So I was always told it was just ignorance. And me personally, I dealt with it with violence. And then once I dealt with it once, nobody really tried to do anything. But I feel like sometimes maybe with other men, or maybe with women, their biggest thing is they internalize it. You know what I mean? And they won't tell anybody else, or you know, they might not tell their brother, their cousin, or maybe with fear that they might go do something to that person and they'll get into trouble and so on. That was just my perception. But we'll obviously ask you, because obviously you're a female, and obviously you can kind of give us a little bit.
The thing is, with bleaching and colorism too. But the thing is with a lot of black females that I've asked with this question, and I had a lot of friends too who have done it. And when I ask them like, why do you bleach your skin? Why are you doing this? Or
social pressure.
No, they're like, I just want to be one tone. I just want to have one skin color. I just want to be even out. They're like, Arish, you're black. You're just one color. And I'm just like, yeah, but I'm like, but is there not other ways that we can fix this too, though? You know.
There are.
But then some of them be like, also they'd be like, I just want to be lighter tone. Like I just want to be
because
lighter.
society pushes the narrative of like a lot of light-skinned women. Now it's cool to be a dark.
Now it's reversed. Now it's reversed. It's like, where were these guys before?
But I think with women it's worse. Like I said, like I can only talk for myself and my experiences. With men, it's men. It's your like being a dark black man is it's tall, he's dark and handsome. So these people fit that narrative, and you're gonna be desired by people from your own culture, other cultures, and then white culture. You know, so for example, I give you an example in the sports industry. Like, I have so many friends that like obviously they end up having like white wives or like wives of other cultures. I'm not saying that's because that's it, and a lot of them have told me this personally. They're like, bro, these black girls weren't trying to show me any time, like back in the day. So now these white girls are telling me my skin is perfect. They're giving me all these compliments. So naturally, I'm gonna go that direction. It's not I don't like my own people. If they gave me that attention, then I probably would like to be with a black girl. So sometimes that internal hurt from black girls that. But it goes both ways.
But they didn't realize that maybe.
But they didn't know.
Maybe they might feel that they should have realized that maybe the reason why these girls were. Maybe we're not really
interested in it because they were treating them in a certain way.
And they're internalizing that colorism.
Well. So it can go both ways. But that's just like one of the, like from my personal experience, obviously that's kind of, some of the things that I kind of found out, so.
Because I remember at school, I think.
What school did you go to? Like?
I went, so I was in Derby for a bit.
Oh, okay.
So like in Derby, it was, I think there was only me and then my friend Dwayne. He was Jamaican. We were the only two black boys in the class. So obviously like colorism wasn't a thing, and even him, he never really commented on my complexion or anything.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, we're both black.
Yeah.
We lived in the same area. It was only till I got to London where there's now more different black people from the Caribbean.
Yeah.
And then it was just kind of a shock to the system, because it was like, I remember there was one point, I remember getting called a monkey by a group of Somali kids.
Oh wow.
For Somalis?
Yeah, which is funny. And then,
wow.
And then obviously like different West Africans, not West Africans, but other African people and other Caribbeans, kind of making comments on my skin.
Yeah. And
then it just kind of just made me like, a bit baffled, like, okay, what's this? And then at the same time, it's okay, so what if I'm dark? Now what? What do you want me to do?
Yeah, there's nothing I can do about it.
So what is it you want me to be? Your complexion? And then when I'm your complexion, now what? Someone else who's lighter than us? Yeah. And I'm going to say you lot are too dark. So it's like, where does this end? It's like, what? So I think a lot of people, they internalize racism because it's obviously they have this idea that being lighter or being white is.
But that's a Western concept. Yeah. That's a Western concept, because I think the biggest thing is people like sometimes forget that there's over 1.2, 1.3 billion blacks in the continent of Africa, and then all over the world there's blacks. You go to South America, there's so many. It's almost like
diverse continent in the world.
I think they even say that there's more blacks than there is any other race. We're more overpopulated because we're everywhere.
Everywhere. So
because black did start everything.
I guess so. Yeah.
But with the whole colorism thing too. But like, how do you guys feel like with it now, starting like in this generation, 2020? Like, how do you feel like?
Oh, we're in fashion. We're in fashion. Everybody wants it.
But my brother, my brother's 11 and he started going to secondary school. Like this last September. Same thing. You're black.
Really?
Yeah. So it's like, I think maybe it's something that they deal with as kids. I don't know where they get it from. Maybe it's the media, or maybe it's music or whatever it is.
But the sad thing is, it's coming from your own people. That's why it's painful. Because there's no white boys saying that. There's no like mixed race boys calling you that. Because for them, if they call you a black monkey, that's straight racism. You can get kicked out of school for that. And mixed race or Indian, you call that somebody, you get kicked out. So I think you're getting it more from your own people, you know, and whether they are African or whether they're from Caribbean, that's where it's coming from.
But I think it's them like deflecting their own insecurities about
it's gotta be.
Because it's like,
I feel like colorism here in London is very different from like from a lot of places where I've experienced it. Like in Canada, I feel like it's not as harsh as it is here in London. I feel like...
Is that because the environment that you grew up in, there's so many South Sudanese?
Yes.
That's another thing as well.
That's probably one of like the biggest things. Maybe because I grew up with so many Sudanese people that I didn't really get a lot of colorism, you know? Like I was always appreciated for like the color I was and how like I was always told like you're amazing for not wanting to bleach your skin and you don't see the value of it, right?
Yeah.
So like, but then coming to London and then I see like how like the black people just look at each other.
Black are mainly my family and the Sudanese community, to be honest. But other than that, I don't have much black friends that are not in the community.
I think that's the same as me as well.
I've got white friends because I like the racism that I felt. You know,
racism is crazy.
It really is. From men more than women. A lot of men.
That's what I said at the beginning. I feel like the women felt it a lot more and internalized it a little bit more. You know, obviously the guys watching, they can kind of, you know, base it on their own realities. But I do feel like the women where like they internalize things, where like us we'll just get angry and be like, you know, either become violent or defend it or, you know, cuss them out or just do something and deflect
bleach
it.
as well. I know two people that have bleached because they were like the racism was so bad, so they felt like they had to bleach. Honestly. And then it feels a bit uncomfortable because it's like if you feel like
that bad.
How does it feel like being around me because he was the same complexion as me, you know?
But that's
what are you trying to say?
But I think also that filters in with like the whole, you know, like the whole mental health thing because you didn't know what was right, what was wrong to a certain thing, and then because the media or whatever or the society is telling you this is what's beautiful, so naturally you want to be part of that, you want to be accepted. So I think it's purely from what I think is just you want to bleach because you want to be accepted, you know. But I think sometimes, like you said, you're lucky, I'm lucky where you've got the acceptance from your house. You know,
but the thing is, it's like you bleach, but you don't bleach away your features. You don't.
You don't bleach.
Like you only make yourself a bit lighter.
You know what the thing is?
Where does it end?
The thing is like if you're black, you're meant to be black for a reason. And sometimes some people just don't look good light. You just don't look good white.
But you know what?
And it's like you guys really need to stop because it really brings out the ugliness
side of you. But you know, I think sorry. Go ahead, finish.
No, like this bleaching thing, I don't even know.
But you know what? There's always this like, you know, I don't know, like obviously one's growing up, they're like, oh yeah, no, she's beautiful because she's light skinned. There's a lot of ugly mixed race people.
There is.
A lot of ugly light skinned people. But that's 100%.
Ugly is ugly.
They're ugly, bro, 100%. White people, black people, like you're ugly, bro. It doesn't matter what you look like.
Universal.
And
bleach ain't gonna change that.
Bleach is not gonna change. It's not gonna change that, unfortunately. You know what I mean? So if you're beautiful and you're dark, you're light, whatever it is what it is, isn't it? But there are some people like that you have this perception, oh yeah, she's a little bit light. She's no. There's a couple frogs out there, man. You know, it really is a couple frogs, legit. You know, so don't change your skin color, man. Keep who you are, man.
Just love yourself for who you are from within. If your color doesn't define you, then you shouldn't look beyond like what other people have to say about you, because you know what you feel from what inside is how you're gonna glow from outside, and that's just what it is. And
but you know what? Also,
don't deflect your insecurities on other people.
Other people. Again, just to kind of go back to our experiences, I think like in London, I think like the boys could have done a better job in terms of protecting the girls that look like you, and like we really, because it's almost okay, cool. I'm dark skinned, I'm with 5 or 6 black boys, no one's even gonna dare question us, because we're so physically imposing that no one's even gonna even think about doing that. Where the girls were a little bit more, you know, even if they're out together or they isolate themselves and they're in different parts of the community, I think within like our own girls, whether it's your sister, like you'll do it naturally for your sister, your cousin, but there were other girls in the community, when you hear certain things, we personally could have dealt with it better. Like, bro, you can't do that. If you do that, there's consequences. And I think as men, we didn't, well, as men or boys or teenagers at the time, I think we could have done a lot better job and protected it. We might have done it individually, I might have done it with my sister and my cousins and so on and so on, but as a wider community, if we kind of, like I said in the last podcast, once we kind of shape up as a group of men and we start doing certain thing, everybody else falls in line. And no one's going to disrespect my cousin or my sister.
You have a framework.
You have a framework. And no one's going to be like, oh, Irish or you're black this, whatever. Because they know if they say that, there's a whole 15, 16, 20 other men behind it. You know, they might not beat you up physically, but you're going to think twice about it. You know, and then now they're safe. But because we didn't have that protection, or we were so individual and we didn't protect our community as a whole, or they protect ourselves and stamp our authority as one group. That's why I think there's so many cracks and so many of our girls struggled from it. 100%.
Yeah, because like I just like here in London, like I just went out yesterday. Yesterday was the 29th of February, right? So and I'm literally the only dark black girl there. Everyone is like different tones of black. Everyone's just staring at me.
That happens all the time.
They're staring at me because they're like, how come she has so much pride? How come she has so much? How come she has so much like Because I'm standing strong. You know? They're just staring at me. They're like this, and I'm just like, in my head, I'm just like, you guys need to stop. I'm like, listen. I'm like, you can be black and beautiful and still be prideful of yourself. Not everybody's ugly that is black. You know, and also I've seen like how the black men here too is like, some of them are very fearful to approach.
Don't be scared, go get yourself a South Sudanese girl, bro. Take nigga and don't sit, go get yourself one, bro.
They're very fearful to approach a black woman who is confident.
Yes, they are.
But that's not.
But that's the insecurities. If a man hasn't got, if you're a like strong, independent woman, I find that guys that haven't like sort themselves out, got themselves to that level, they might want to get to know you and stuff like that, but I don't think they'll commit to anything because of that fear of the power that you have. And if you do get with them like that, you won't really be in a good relationship. Do you know what I mean? Like, because
there's going to be insecurities that always going to pop up, and it's also unnecessary arguments because of some.
Like you said, like having that powerful presence or whatever as a female, from a male's point of view, you have to run with it. Like whether you're watching now, you have to run with it, because if your wife is, or your girl is generally like stronger in certain areas, it doesn't mean that it exposes your weaknesses. She might be able to cover those weaknesses for you. You know what I mean? But as a man, you take it as prideful, like, oh no man, I can't have my chick do that for me. How am I going to look in front of my friends? Bro, your friends don't care, because they're all going through the same thing. They're all going through the same thing, and they just don't tell you. But legit, that's what happens, you know. So if she can protect, you know, she can do certain things, it's better you kind of work together as a group. You know what I mean? Whether it's your, you know, whether it's your girl, whether it's your wife, your fiance, however it is. But because really, at the end of the day, it's just kind of you. That's who you spend most of your time with.
Your mom is black.
Your mom is black, bro. Your mom is black. So
The thing with me, I think, because my mom, she used to tell me to bleach when I was younger.
Oh wow.
So like, I think when it comes to like,
so proud of you in your brain. Very strong in that, because someone's telling you from young to bleach, and then you go against that.
My mom used to tell me to bleach when I was younger. And it's like, when like I look at it now, and I see it, and I'm just like, why were you trying to deflect your insecurities onto me? You know?
She didn't know. Do you know what? Some parents, I really like, I understand what you're saying, but sometimes they don't know, or sometimes they just, they're so afraid of what's new, because like your mom's come from a different environment, you said you came from Egypt, whatever, but like living in Sudan and then coming on into Egypt or wherever they lived and then coming to Canada, it's a massive shift. You know, if you're between 25 and 35 and I ask you today, move, and you got to go live in Russia or go live in China because there's a new job opportunity, you've got to take your family, there's going to be fear there.
Yeah.
So I think, yes, they're trying to tell you certain things, but I think we've got to kind of step back a little bit and think if you were 25 and you had a husband and you had 2 kids, or 26 and then you moved to a different country, how would you behave?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So hers is survival. So she's doing such, she's trying to tell you, you've got to fit in, because she doesn't want you to be out of place and she wants your life to be as good as possible. Yeah. Information is, it's not correct, but she's trying to survive. That's what it is, a survival instinct.
Because I think also a lot personally why I think, because I understand, I think some people bleach because they don't want to be as dark. They don't want to stick out as being so dark, so they want to tone their skin down. Yeah. So they can just like any other regular, as they perceive the regular.
Yeah, but that comes from the outside world though, because if you kind of really, again, if you come from where you come from, you know, in South Sudan, everybody's dark.
Like everyone is black.
In Africa, you just, it's a dark continent. So everybody's black.
Because I say that from the standpoint, because I remember there was this guy, I think we were in a class where they were talking about complexions.
Yeah.
And the guy said, oh, he's black, but I'm black, so I'm regular black. Okay. So I think there's a lot of people.
Yeah, I hear that all the time. Yeah. They're like, but your complexion is, you know, your black is different to my black. Yeah. You're different black than me.
So I think there's some people.
Okay, my undertone is yellow.
It's crazy.
So I just cut the conversation like that. We can't do.
Or your undertone is orange or brown.
But either way, you're still black.
Yeah, exactly. So I think there's some people who do that to that standpoint where they feel like they don't want to necessarily become white, but they just don't want to be as dark as.
That's a slave, but also it's a slave mentality. It's a slave mentality. It's a divide and conquer mentality.
Like, people are all being black, but it's like they don't want to be South Sudanese black.
I think one thing that we obviously have to address, if obviously people may know, may not know, but it's a slave mentality. Generally, naturally, it's obviously the darker you are, the bigger you are, you're naturally going to work outside. The lighter you are, you're closer to them. So naturally, they're going to bring you in. So if they can divide that group, if they can divide me and you, there's nothing that they can offer. But if me and you start arguing and we're having problems, they're going to be able to come in and give me something and give you something. Now we're fighting.
I mean, that's how it always wins.
But that's how it is. It's just divide and conquer. And it goes back to defending like our cousins or like our sisters or anybody else that's like that. Because we didn't really know what our value was. Now as adults we do. But if we'd known what our value was at the time, we're protecting. I'm like, yo bro, you can't do that. And then once you kind of seen as you're together, as you're one group, like they can't divide that. You know what I mean? And I think that's where it stems from. Break you guys apart, everybody becomes individuals, and then we can just do whatever we want, pick everybody off individually. You know what I mean? So I think it's that indoctrinating, you know what I mean, and you can do that in with blacks, you can do that in different aspects of life as well, you know. So I think once people kind of get over that, understand this is what's happening, this is what society is pushing, then they'll have a little bit of understanding.
I think obviously people are learning it more and more. Like we're talking about, people are appreciating obviously people with darker complexions more and more. You know, as the years go on.
That's because we don't get no spots, man. Have a look, nothing.
That's a damn lie.
We don't shave.
That is a damn lie.
We don't shave though. Do you shave?
I do my armpits and obviously my private area.
But you shave your legs?
No, I don't need to do all that. But the thing people have to understand.
You got hair and chest.
With black skin, our black skin also can get damaged. Like
it can.
Like we were talking about our scars. Like when we get scarred, it really shows a lot. Like you know, we see the imperfections.
Everybody else don't see it.
Everyone else don't see it, but we see it. But then, and that's why I don't always to hear your skin is just so clear, and it's like my skin is just so clear. Like
put the light on it.
Exactly. Like live in it, and then come and tell me if it's clear. Like. But I
think if you go and juggle, once you come back, you might see a difference. I think.
No, because it's like listen,
even your hair, everything.
You know, even with this whole like you guys know, I am a model. I'm a curve model, and I had this one photographer. He took a picture of me, but then I showed you guys my scar on my foot. So he literally photoshopped that out. You know, and I was like, in my heart, I was really upset because I'm just like, this told a story. You know, you could have asked me before, you could have edited it out. even though yes, I know my skin is black and people are not gonna see it like completely, you know, but like end of the day, another little girl who has scars on her body, who's like, I want to be a model, but then I can't be a model because every model has clear skin, is gonna be like, oh, but Arish, she had something on her leg and she was an amazing model and she did what she did. You see, like, this is what I mean, like, this man, he could have at least asked me first before clearing out my scar off my foot. And this is why when I say, like, not all black is always clear. Black is also, it does have imperfections.
It does. A few imperfections, but most of the time, I think, generally from the outside, from a distance, it just looks all even. You can't really see it. And also, I think it kind of goes down to our diet as well over a period of time. The South Sudanese diet is very, like, most of it's plant-based. You know, there's this whole new vegan, whatever. Go to a village, they've been vegan since.
Trust me,
since
they've been vegan, plant-based.
You know what I mean? Everything's
meat is a luxury.
Yeah, meat is a luxury. And generally fish, chicken,
even milk,
like, you know, stuff like that. That's a luxury. You know, and having like such a plant-based diet, it kind of reflects in, you know, on your body as well. There's no toxins.
And also the sun as well.
Can't go to the shop and buy a Coca-Cola bottle with a Twix.
So the next question is, which one? The third one?
No, the second one.
Oh, the second. Oh, okay. Have you ever experienced discrimination in the workplace?
Yeah. So I think you touched on that just now.
Yeah. So yeah, that was one of my experiences. But then also I had another experience too. But back when I was working in as customer service.
Yeah.
I had one friend who I got her the job. So listen to this story. So she was a Nigerian woman. Yeah. She was also a darker complexion Nigerian woman.
Yeah.
And I got her the job where I was working at like a cupcake shop, whatever.
Yeah.
And you know, she brought up something. She was talking about have you ever like stole from here? Or did you ever steal like money from like the counter thingy, right?
You stolen.
Yeah. And I was like, no, I'm like, I've never done that. She's like, it's so easy. You can literally steal, like, you know? And I was like, okay. Literally, she went to go tell the boss. The boss was a white woman.
Yeah.
And I felt like the boss, she like fired me like right away. Because she went to go tell her that, oh, I stole from the counter.
That's insecure.
Even though she did it herself.
Yeah, even though she's the one that did it, and because I felt like, you know what, I think it was because I was a more darker tone than her. They were like, oh, okay, like
and you look more intimidating and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So then, so that was another, you know, discrimination of workplace that I've had, and I was just, it's disgusting. And it's just like she didn't even have like. She didn't even have the courage to come and ask me like, Arish, did you do this? Like, you know, like, or just be like, Arish, oh, I'm sorry, could you just like have taken my back, like, you know, like we could have done so many things to make a different scenario out of it, you know?
Yeah.
So.
Imagine that you got her the job as well.
I don't know, like you said, because of guys, obviously, you get physical quite quickly. I think for the most part it's just jokes.
Yeah.
You know, obviously passive aggressive jokes.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, we can't see you, or, you know, you need to eat. You need to wear white gloves when you eat chocolate.
I shut that down.
Stupid stuff. Like, but obviously, like I said, obviously you check people, and then they're like, oh, I'm just joking. So I think that's the only thing closest to colorism. Yeah. And it's like I said, obviously before, it's like it's usually the other black people. It's not even white people.
Yeah.
Saying
I think. With me in terms of like workplace, because obviously I've been in the sports industry, so naturally it was never anything like negative. It was like, oh man, you black people, you just lift weights for 2 weeks and then you look like it look like your body's completely thin. But I think because maybe our skin is a little bit darker, so you can see the cuts and the definition a little bit quicker. So it's like, I wish I was.
Especially if you guys are toned the hell out, you guys can see that cut.
Yeah, so it's like, you know, so if you take care of your body and you don't take care of your body, like it's naturally, you know, you trim quite quickly, you know, you take care of your body in that aspect. So for me, it wasn't really anything really negative, and for me, I shut that down immediately. We started doing that talk. I'm like, bro, I'm not playing that stuff immediately. So that's my character, isn't it? Whether you're black or white, and if you do cross that boundary, me and you will be face to face immediately. There's no, like they say, it's on sight immediately. It really is on sight. You know what I mean? I take offense to that, whether you're black or white. But with the white people generally, like with the women, they're like, oh yeah, your skin is so smooth, this is all on tone, whatever. But it's stuff that you hear over time. So it was almost like, oh, I wish my skin was like yours. You know, so it was almost more compliments most of the time. Like I said, I didn't really get anything from the white boys, didn't really get anything from, it was just purely some of like my own, you know. Exactly, it really was some of my own guys. But once I shut that down, it didn't really, you know, I had zero tolerance for it. You know what I mean? I didn't even entertain it. But I feel like some people might not have that confidence or just like, whatever. It's a
and also, I think also people might be intrigued as well. They'll be like, oh, so where are you from? Like,
some people are intrigued, some people are really intrigued. They're like, oh, where are you from? Like, okay, you're from Sudan. Some people actually don't know where Sudan is or South Sudan. Some people really don't know.
I had one guy ask me, oh, Sudan in the Caribbean?
I think it's because we've got so many models, we've got so many people from the country that consistently represent South Sudan. So we're like.
And melanin is trending.
Yeah, I guess so.
And also when
trending.
And also when the Pope went and kissed, is it the Pope? He went and kissed like some people's feet, isn't it as well? Like,
where?
Do you remember that?
I don't know, bro. I don't watch TV that much. So I don't know.
So obviously, like these leaders, obviously from South Sudan, they went to the Vatican, and the Pope went on his hands and knees and kissed their feet.
Oh, for real?
So because that is like like
that's just unheard of.
When like
BBC
like
now,
me,
BBC.
like me, I love black. You know, I'm going to South Sudan in a few weeks. And like even me too, when I go back to South Sudan, I even feel like I'll be on my knees like kissing.
You're gonna be light skinned
like,
when you go there.
No, I'm not gonna be light skinned. No.
But when you go there, they're gonna see us light skinned.
I'll wear fancy dark like
some way for a bit.
No, like I really wanna just like I'm telling you guys, like my South Sudanese people out here, I'm telling you guys, love your skin, love yourself, love where you come from, because you are literally the world. Like you are what created everything. Appreciate yourself from the inside. Like just know that your color is royalty. Like it's gods upon kings and queens and goddesses, and it's from every creature, from the sky to the moon to the sea to the ground. Like just love yourself, love your color, because your black is just it's too beautiful. Like look at us.
So fellas, love yourself like Tank loves himself. You do that and you'll be alright.
Look at us. We're amazing. Like we're amazing.
We are. Next question, what mental health issues do you think colorism leads to? Obviously, insecurity for a lot of people.
Yeah.
I think for me, especially when I was younger, especially when I used to pass a group of black people, I always used to be scared that they would say something to me. Like, oh, look at this split guy, blah, 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 try to make jokes on me.
Yeah.
Even to the point where I used to just
was that in Derby or was that in London?
This was in London, especially when I went to secondary school, because that's when I got it the most.
What, here?
Yeah, in London, yeah.
What school did you go to, by the way?
I went to Aloysius.
No.
No, Aloysius, and then I went to William Ellis.
I don't know what
Ellis.
you guys
I was Ellis, yeah.
Your generation was so different to their generation.
I think it might be a bit different. I think my generation there's probably just so many South Sudanese people. I didn't go to Aloysius myself, but Aloysius and I know William Ellis. My older brother went to William Ellis and my brother went to Ellis.
Yeah.
So it was like a whole load of South Sudanese that went to school around that time, and they all went to school at the same time because they came from wherever they came from, whether it was from South Sudan, whether it was Sudan, or there was loads of Ethiopians and Somalians and Congolese that all came at the same time during the wartime. So naturally, it was so easy to connect with them because a lot of them were refugees. Yeah. So, obviously, when you went to school, it might have been a little bit different.
No, it was completely different. I was the only South Sudanese there.
Oh, wow.
And then, it's mainly Nigerians, Congolese, Ghanaians, Caribbeans, obviously, but the only South Sudanese person there. So, that was one thing that really kind of messed with me a bit. Was I was always anticipating some sort of jokes coming. When I past, like especially a large group of people. It's just like, to say something.
But it just anxiety.
But
anxiety. Basically,
It always makes you. For me, it always makes me feel like someone's always looking at me in a negative light. You know, like I'm always like even like a situation today. Like I went into a jewelry store in Oxford. And Oxford Street. So I went into a jewelry store in there, and all the workers are just staring at me, looking at me, you know, kept watching me, kept like, oh, do you need help? Do you need this? Do you need this? You know, while there's like 10 other people in the shop.
But you think it's because, oh wow, her skin's so beautiful, she's nice. It might not be the fact that, oh yeah, she's gonna steal, because they're like, wow, she's gorgeous.
And that's the thing. That's where I'm just like, okay, are they looking at me because they think
sometimes they think
I look beautiful, or are they looking at me because they think I'm going to steal from them?
You know, you're right.
Black people got money now. They're gonna steal.
You know,
money too now.
But in most senses, I find that if they're gonna say, like, if they think you're beautiful, they will come and tell you. But if they think you're up to something,
and they were Turkish
around you.
You know, this was a Turkish shop.
That makes sense.
And then I even told the lady, I'm like, don't worry, I'm not gonna steal. I'm like, I like the pearls. You know, and then I was, but in myself too, I was just like, I'm like, how about if she was just admiring me? You know, this is something that brings like a defensiveness, and like it brings like an attitude from me. I'm just like, you know, I get like very like aggressive, and just like, you know, and I might not show it like physically, but like verbally, I'll start getting, you know, like aggressive, and I'm just like, okay, maybe I shouldn't do that. Maybe they're not thinking of me in a bad light. So this is where I feel like sometimes, you know, things like this does happen, like, you know, with like the whole mental issue with the colorism, because you're just never too aware or too sure of what somebody really thinks of you, or how they're perceiving you in their heads. So
I think with a mental health thing, like I've seen it with people that are close to me as well, where it's almost a compounding effect where, okay, things might not be going great for you at home, live in a crappy area. Now you don't, like most people don't know that they're poor until they become adults, like until they're in their 30s. Like, oh wow, we're poor. My mom was actually like managing, our parents were actually managing, or we're like we're below the poverty line. A lot of people really don't know. And so you're dealing with that, you're dealing with your environment, you know, sometimes, yes, there's positive stuff, and I honestly think sometimes when you don't have that support system at home or within someone of a network, if it might be an uncle, it might be a neighbor that doesn't kind of encourage that, it's easy for you to start thinking, what's wrong with me? When there's actually nothing wrong with you, it's the world that's completely screwed up, and then you're projecting that on yourself.
Internalizing it.
Yeah, you're internalizing it, and then you're starting to think, oh yeah, I'm the one with the issue or whatever, and I see it a lot within our community. And then on top of that, not only are you fighting a different battle to what your parents were fighting, your parents were just surviving. Now you're supposed to be thriving, but you've got the issue of, okay, you're too dark, or we don't like you, or you know, you can't find a boyfriend, or you can't find a girlfriend. So those social pressures on top of everything you have, not having money on top of it, or they're pushing a certain career on you that you don't really want to do, you know what I mean? But it happens within the community. They might expect you to be a certain thing that's not your strengths, you know? And with all of that on top of it, that's gonna cause anybody to crack. You know what I mean? And I honestly think, not only within the South Sudanese community and just within the black community, there's so much post-traumatic stress. Some of you might have it, you don't even know.
And what do you guys think about fruits? Because you know how when people used to be like, you should eat fruits right away, like it has to be, you need to eat it before like it raws. You know, some people think that when one is raw and when it's black, that the fruit is not good no more.
That's their personal opinion.
That's when it's perfect.
But this is when it has more nutrients and it has more vitamins for you and your protein. So
some of you like chop up black plantain. Whether you're Sudanese or whether you're West African,
it's sweet. It's
nice.
So not everything that's polished is always good for you.
You're taking a dig, huh? Touching the nerve.
Good.
I think just to kind of go back to the mental health issue, I think it does have an effect, and like I said, a lot of the things that I've just kind of described, it's so much pressure, because your parents don't know how to help you, your friends don't know how to help you, because they're struggling with the same thing. It's only when you're out of that environment you start to realize, oh wow, there's actually a problem. And then obviously I do encourage people to try to get help, whether it's someone close to you. You don't have to be loud about it, but just try to figure out what the problem is and then just try to deal with it, especially with men. Yeah. Bro, we don't talk to no one. If I've got an issue, I'm not going to tell you. No. If I've got no money, I'm not going to tell you. Yeah. But girls, you probably go tell her, oh, this is what's going on. They talk. It's a little bit more open, but we bottle it up. And then one day, people think, oh, this guy's gone nuts, bro. Yeah. And that's not only in our community, that's just overall.
Do you know what it is like? With females, obviously, we are our hormones.
More emotional, yeah.
So it's like it's forced out of us. We can't help it. We have to express ourselves. Whereas guys, like you have obviously
it's a time bomb.
Testosterone.
But you're told you're told not to be weak. Like grow up, be a man. Like don't show any emotion.
So what really is a man?
No, I know. But the thing is, you're hearing that society's telling you that, your family might be telling you that, everybody's consistently.
And it's okay to, you know.
But if you do that, your brethren or your friends might be like, okay, hold on a minute, why are you, bro? Man up, man. What's wrong with you? And it might be a deep problem, but the minute they say man up, that means they haven't opened up to the opportunity of maybe trying to help you. So then that comment, man up, you might never say a word for another 15 years.
I'm done. Sorry, not funny.
I'm done. You're like, yo, bruv, man, listen, man. Things are getting hard here. My missus is giving me a headache, bro. Shut up, man up, bro. And you're 21, you might never say a word until you're 41. At that point, you might start, you might
even break it down. We just said man up.
Man up. But that means a lot. For everyone who's watching, that means a lot. Next thing is, you're 41, you're trying to find an answer in Jack Daniel. Jack Daniel's not helping you, unfortunately. You really not.
Uncle Majad?
Yeah, Uncle Majad's causing me problems. Yeah. But that's legit. That's what's going on. You guys are laughing, but that's the reality.
It is the reality.
And that's the reality of what's going on.
A lot of people are dealing with it, low key.
So many people are dealing with it.
And it's quite scary because there's just so many.
You're not functioning. You're not functioning. You don't know.
And then when you see it, and then people are really going in, with the drinks, with the drugs, and you're just like, bro, what's
going on?
Yeah. Because you don't drink and smoke or do whatever that much if there isn't a problem.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like women might take it out a different way, but men, you internalize it. So you forget about your issues. You wake up on Monday, like, okay, cool, whatever.
Unless you're like a man I find that guys that are in sports, it's
easier to release it. Yeah, so much easier.
Releasing their testosterone and
So play sports, guys. Go to the gym.
Be active.
Yeah,
honestly,
be active, man.
Be creative. You don't even need to be
like something just to exercise your.
Let it out. Let it out.
Exercise your nerves is like the best way it can possibly help you in life.
I agree, man.
Like it's honestly an amazing thing. Writing, exercising, drawing, reading, anything that can help you build and function even more and just become more intellectual. It's
also change your social circles as well.
But that's hard. I agree with you, but that's extremely difficult.
But then sometimes you might have to be like a lone ranger for a bit.
I guess so. But not how many people are mentally able to, with all their, like, I'm trying to play both sides here. I'm okay to be a lone ranger because I know what the results are. But somebody who has no idea what's going to be on the other side, and he knows this place is so bad, I want to get out, but I don't know what's on the other side.
You can even be a lone ranger and you can suffer in that because you don't know what to do.
And you don't know what to do. And if you speak to somebody, again, you're going to remember, he said, man up. Like, you guys are laughing, but it's what happens. But so you're never really going to open up. So I understand what you're saying, but there sometimes there might not be no support system in order for you to be that lone range or do something but it might be somebody outside your community that gives you that outlet. Like you said, sport or reading or whatever, that could be your exit. Like everyone's looking for anybody who's in poverty has plans of making money and getting out of their environment. Nobody who's growing up in a poor environment wants to live there.
Of course, no.
Nobody wants to live there. Nobody likes misery, bro. No one likes poverty. Nobody does. I don't care who you are. Nobody does, bro.
Do you know
what's trying to get out?
Can I tell you something? I disagree with that. Some people actually like misery and poverty, and some people actually like
poverty.
Do you know? Can I tell you something?
Because they can function well in there.
Or have an excuse.
Give me explain. Come on, Irish, help me out.
Hurt people.
Hurt people. I get that.
Do you understand that? And then if you go so deep into that further, it's like you've been hurt so much. You can't control it. It's just human nature. Do you know what I mean? You need therapy and stuff like that to help you come out of that and to bring you in your natural state back to who you are, because anybody, it doesn't matter who you are, you can lose yourself. Do you know what I mean? If you don't apply like certain things to help you function,
you see that
get better. You know what I mean?
I agree with you. I agree with you. The whole therapy thing, obviously, that's big at the moment. But like, there's one of my aunties.
But there's so many types of therapy. You can just clean the house, Nadu.
Yeah, fair enough.
Just put music on, put it up, clean the like. Do you know what I mean?
One of my aunties as well. One of my aunties that lives in the States, the same thing. It's like, this therapy thing, man. Remember when you get a white guy? Basically, you're just gonna go sit with a bunch of white people and tell me your family secrets. What kind of nonsense is this? You don't need this in your life, man. Just exercise, do boxing, you'll be okay.
And talking is
but that's their narrative, though, because a lot of them have no idea.
Yeah.
Like, how can you go tell somebody all your secrets? No way, bro. They'd rather die with it.
Yeah,
but again, with men, I think with men, it doesn't have to be some therapist where you sit in a chair, whatever. The therapist could be somebody who's like 30 years older than you, who's maybe like your uncle or family friend, and you just got to talk to, because he's got 30 years more experience than you. So he'll be able to maybe navigate you through life in that aspect.
But the thing is, if
they understand it, but not everybody you can go to. But if you do find that one person that can help you, and sometimes they don't even need to be from your own community. You know, so I think that might be, just to answer your finger point, I think that might be, I think we should take it seriously, but again, we don't know. I don't know what this therapy thing is.
Yeah, I think people get the wrong understanding of therapy, because when you go to a therapist, the therapist don't actually say anything. You just get allowed to express. That's it. The therapist just listens to you.
But I feel like that's something wrong a therapist should do. I think therapists, they should honestly try to.
They can't advise you.
They should try.
No, they do. They do pick at you in a very professional way. Because it's like you end up saying
work.
Like she can say one word and it will trigger everything. You understand? That's how therapy works, because there's. Like, we all have triggers, you know what I mean?
If there is anybody who's from my community that understands this stuff, I think next week we might do mental health, so come jump on board and let us know a little bit more, because like, for example, myself, I don't really know too much about it. It's happening everywhere. And for me, I was in denial at first. I was like, this mental health thing is nonsense, man. What are you not talking about?
Really?
At first, I was
until when? When did you...
Do you know what? I think until it started coming close to home, where you have like people, you have friends or you have family members that like, might have issues, and you're like, right, what, like really, what is this thing? And for me, I feel like I'm not that much older than a lot of people that watch this, or I'm not that much older than you, but I think because of my transition, I've been in so many different countries over the last couple of years, I've always just followed what my dad did or my uncles did, and they just dealt with it. Like, just be a man and deal with it, bro. Don't even entertain the fact. But like you said earlier on, don't even entertain the fact that you might have something that you don't even know. Yeah, like that's what I said earlier. I actually might have issues that I have no idea about, because I didn't even entertain the idea of complain. But how can I complain? I got a wife, I got kids, I got all of these these people depending on me. Who do I don't have any time to let off some steam, or because if I do that, then how am I setting a good example for my kids or my cousins or my wife? So as a man, that pressure is there to not tell anybody, because you've got to deal with it, and you just take it to the grave with you. So I think it is something that should be discussed, but it's a hard topic because nobody knows. We don't know. Like black people, like I'm talking about South Sudanese here. We don't know any of this stuff. Like, ask yourselves, people that watch it, how many times your dad or your mom say, "Oh, I love you," or "I'm proud of you"? That doesn't happen. Or the word "sorry."
Oh no.
Maybe your mom, maybe your mom or your aunties will say, "Okay, sorry, whatever." Have you ever heard any male in your family that says, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that. This is what happened, whatever." That will never happen.
That when you
get over it, really.
Get over it, man. You'll be fine, man. Move on. But again, it might be something that's hurting you, and you just mask it, and then it just might open up in 10 years' time again. So I don't know. That's my take on it, to be honest.
So what's the next question?
Is there more questions?
Yes.
My mind is going crazy right now. I have so many things I just want to say, but like I just don't even know how to like say it.
You can't be PC. You got to be a little bit more PC. Do you think, this goes to us, obviously men and women as well, do you think lighter women are preferred than darker women, and why do you think that is? Question goes to you.
I think so, yeah, of course, but me personally,
So let me just. He said that, and the camera lady just insulted him. So
no, I mean not me personally, but I think generally for a lot of men, a lot of South Sudanese men, I think it is. But me personally, I don't know why. If I'll be honest.
Okay, and you, what's your? Because obviously you work in that industry. You kind of work in that industry, so you can give us a little bit more light in how they treat, let's say, lighter skinned women to darker skinned women, or just black women versus white women, and mixed race women.
Okay, you know what? I'm gonna be completely honest here.
Yeah, like, let's open up. Let's open up, man.
I've always only dated Sudanese men, like I've already said.
Okay.
I've never been attracted to any other race until like now. For some reason, I'm starting to get attracted to like lighter toned blacks and like
welcome to London.
Like, other colors.
They're smooth like
They got lyrics. I don't know what's going on.
They got bars in London, huh?
Like I'm starting to become more attracted to like lighter tones and like other like races and stuff, because I'm trying to look beyond just the physical form, I'm trying to look behind it.
Intellectual.
But it's like with this whole preferred lighter, I don't know, it's a tricky one for me because
I mean that's why
it's a tricky one. Like I sometimes, because now when I used to look at light skin men, I thought they were like the most disgusting thing ever. Like looking at them, I'm so sorry, but this is like this is how like I used to look at lighter tone men. But then now when I look at them, I'm like, you guys actually look beautiful. Like there's some of you guys who are actually very good looking men.
That's probably because you've been surrounded by so many dark people. Like you say, you're around these people all the time,
and
that's your environment's so different. So you didn't really like.
That was your narrative. But
the thing is, at the same time, I think it's because also, like not much of you guys probably know, but I have what's it called? I have a child, and she's with white people.
Okay.
And her other sister is also a lighter tone. She's Ethiopian.
Yeah.
And I think it's like now I'm trying to be more open-minded, more aware, and okay, how about one day if she brings back home a white man, or if she brings back home an Arab man, or she does something, and then I have to look beyond his color, and then when they have kids, I have to see my kids as like. In different tones too. So I'm just like, you know what? Let me be more open-minded and like let me just accept the fact that like, you know what? I think at this time in my stage where I'm mentally is like I'm not really trying to look at color. I'm trying to look like the beauty from within.
Yeah.
So
I think I want to take my answer. I think I want to add on. No, I want to add on.
Retracted that.
No, I want to add on is I think for some guys, South Sudanese guys, I feel like the reason why they would prefer someone, not necessarily of a lighter tone, but of a different nationality or different community, because I think there's just a lot of South Sudanese women are close to home.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think maybe they just want to do
in
whatever.
the UK probably, because we all feel like we're cousins.
Yeah.
So I think
very
that's
difficult to try and like.
So I think
we're all related.
I think do a background check. Do a background check.
Even then, it feels weird because you grew up with them, so you're like.
So I don't necessarily think it's that they prefer lighter women. I just think they just prefer.
and I think it's a good thing too. I think it's time for like I said last time, it's time for South Sudanese people to expand their horizon and go beyond what they know, because it's time for us to start bringing colors together.
Go fishing, guys. That's what she's saying. Go fishing.
Together. We need to start bringing different harmonies, different rhythms, different beats, everything. We need to start getting jiggy.
I think it's already happening.
I think